Alright, what up children of God, this is Randumpz, and today's video I'm going to be showing you how to talk to women. So in just a moment I'm going to be showing you a text exchange between me and this girl that I was talking to about a month ago. Things got sexual really fast between me and her, and the reason why I'm uploading this video is because my next video after this is going to be a sort of guide, a do's and don'ts of talking to women. So for any brothers out there who are trying to get laid or are having a difficult time about it, hopefully this video and my next video will help you. The purpose of this video is just to show you guys that I'm not full of it, that I do follow my own advice, and that from time to time it does work for me. Hopefully it'll work for you as well. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button, because a lot of you watch the video but don't like and subscribe. Alright, hope you enjoy it. So this was like back at the end of September, so over a month ago, right? So I'm like, hey, I added you from Tinder, you still active on there? She didn't reply, right? So about I think a week, almost 2 weeks passed basically, and I was going through my messenger, and I realized that she didn't reply. So when I messaged her again, understand, I actually did not think she was going to reply to this. I was just bored. It was late. I was getting ready for bed, and then I decided, you know what, I'm bored. Let me just message this girl again. So I messaged her again. This time she did reply. So I'm like, I couldn't help but notice you ignored my messages. I forgot about it till I was scrolling down and saw your display pic. By the way, the display pic that I'm talking about is not the one that you're currently seeing on screen here. This is a new display pic. Her old display pic, most of her tits were showing in her old display pic, right? That's what kind of caught my attention. So right off the bat, I kind of knew that this is a girl that's not trying to pretend like she's necessarily a good girl, right? So she replied with, hello bearded fella, almost immediately. So I'm like, hello cleavage girl, right? Because again, like based on her display pic. And she's like, subscribe. I'm on and off, but not really much on. So I'm like, I see. She's like, where are you from? So this is important, right? So when you're talking to a girl, subscribe. Sometimes I will talk to girls and they just answer questions, or they give you one-liners, or they say LOL or haha, but did you subscribe yet? They don't really continue the conversation. So the fact that she asked me a question so quickly goes to show that she's actually interested in having a conversation. Maybe I caught her while she was bored, I don't know, but the fact is that she's actually contributing to the conversation. There's a lot of girls out there who will either, they won't ask any questions, right? They'll just basically respond to what you say. So these are either girls that have absolutely zero interest in you, or these are girls that just have zero social skills. And I have met those girls that they're interested in you, but they just genuinely don't know how to have a fucking conversation with someone. So it's really annoying. So anyways, fast forward just a little bit. I was kind of joking about, that one of my hobbies are I like to creep on people's profiles. So she's like, well, that's an interesting thought. And I'm like, LOL. She's like, I don't know, it doesn't creep me out much. And I'm like, I'm playing. I got no time to creep on people. And then she's like, one guy has called me about 60 times. I'm obviously joking. Damn, he's a romantic. I don't find it creepy, just thought. I'm like, you need to marry that brother. And then she's like, he just wants to have sex with me. I think he's a virgin. This is super important. So basically, as soon as the conversation begins, she brings up the topic of sex. I didn't bring it up. She brought it up. Now understand, when a girl brings up the topic of sex, obviously it tells you the fact that she's willing to talk about sex with you, it tells you that she's not a prude. It tells you that you can basically test the waters with this girl a little bit more ambitiously than you would with a girl that's seemingly a prude, right? So girls will bring up the topic of sex in one of two scenarios. The first scenario is if you've just already been hardcore friend zoned, right? If a girl has absolutely no intention to have sex with you, oftentimes she might just bring up sex because you're so far deep into the friend zone that she's asking your advice like you're a girlfriend. She's treating you like a girlfriend, right? The other time a girl will bring up sex is when she's open to the idea of having sex with you. If she's even remotely into you and she's okay with talking about sex, that is a huge signal. So if you just met a girl and really early on the topic of sex comes up and she's engaging in that topic, understand that is a huge signal. So she brought up sex, not me. Anyways, then she's like, I just want to eat tacos and Netflix, because I asked her, I'm like, what do you like to do? Right here, I'm just joking about, hey, we have a lot in common. And then again, she brings it back up. She's like, sex is okay, but I don't really have an interest in friends with benefits, which is, I think that's bullshit, right? Anyways, so at this point, I actually changed the conversation from sex back to Netflix because I know that I can bring it up at any time. And on top of which, we're talking about Netflix and chill here. So we even though I'm kind of moving the conversation away from sex, we're still technically on the topic of sex. And the reason why I'm doing that, guys, is because it's so easy that I know I can come back to this topic at any time. And part of it is a joke, right? Where the rules are sort of reversed. In this case, the girl's bringing up sex and the guy's avoiding talking about sex. So it was more of like a subtle joke on my end, which I don't think she understood. But I'm like, so she's like, sex is okay, but I don't really have an interest in friends with benefits. And I'm like, no. We are talking about Netflix, girls. Sex can come up after. It's the most boring topic. The penis goes in the vagina. There's really nothing else to it than that. Anyways, what do you like to watch on Netflix? Again, I don't give a crap what she likes to watch. She's like, oh, I like horror movies, It's October, my favorite time of the year. I don't give a crap. I love the spooky and mysterious. Note this for later. Girls love mystery. This will come in handy later. And I'm like, yeah, girl, Halloween month though. I like watching scary movies with girls. They get all scared and rub against you. She's like, why with girls? And then I'm like, they pretend. Girls lie like crazy in the movie theater. They pretend to be scared so they can get all cuddly with their date. So this is something else, right? I've met a lot of guys, especially when they first meet a girl. And obviously, like, the more you like a girl when you first meet her, the more you're attracted to her, the more this is going to apply. A lot of guys are afraid to make a joke because they're worried, oh, I don't know her sense of humor. What if she takes offense to that? What if it sounds sexist? What if it sounds whatever? Like right here, I'm like, yo, the girls pretend. Girls lie like crazy in a movie theater. So I'm sort of making a blanket statement. But understand, you just have to have like a basic minimum IQ to know that, hey, this guy's joking. So if she were to take offense to this, that's her loss. Like that, it is what it is. You cannot be afraid to joke with people. Obviously, you don't want to be rude. You don't want to be an asshole. You don't want to make anything personal right off the bat. But don't be afraid to have a sense of humor, guys. And she's like, haha, I'm the opposite. I like the thrill. I bet you fucking do. And I'm like, me too, but sex gives you thrills. And she's like, when your heart beats a little faster. If my mind doesn't turn on, the rest of me doesn't either. And then she's like, tell me about yourself. So this is actually really important, guys. So check out my response. I'm like, ask me specific questions and I'll give you specific answers unless I decide I want to be mysterious. Girls fucking love mystery. So the reason why I told her, I'm like, look, ask me specific questions, and you can tell how many dumbass questions she just asked me later. But when a girl asks you an open-ended question, like tell me about yourself, you need to be very careful for two reasons. Number one, you don't want to go on like a rant about yourself. It makes you sound arrogant, but it also genuinely does take away the mystery. Like, I'm joking here, but the truth is that if you just tell someone everything to know about yourself, they're going to lose interest. The more they know about you, the less interesting you seem, right? The less mysterious you seem. And mystery in this case would equal interest, right? But you also got to think about the longevity of a conversation. Like, if I just go on a rant and tell her everything about myself, yes, I might make her laugh hardcore for like a couple seconds. But then you got to think about longevity. How long do I want this conversation to go? Do I want to just give her one hard laugh and then the rest of the conversation is boring? Or do I want to ensure that I tell her a little bit about myself piece by piece by piece, and in the process make her laugh multiple times in the conversation? Longevity is important. So anyways, she asked me all these idiotic questions over here about, haha, girls like a little bit of mystery but not too much. Understandable. Nobody likes finding out their date is a serial killer. And she's like, what is your mom like? And I'm like, what? Like, who asked that? Like, why do you want to know about my mom on a first date? This is the first time I've ever been asked this question. Do you live in Korea? Currently, I'm in Korea, yeah. What's your favorite color? Another stupid ass question. Like, what are you going to learn from someone about their favorite color? Why are you on Tinder? This actually got on my nerves because I'm like, yo, why are you on Tinder? I added you from Tinder and now we're on the topic of sex. Why do you think I'm on Tinder? Where are you from? None of your goddamn business where I'm from. Do you have any children? For the record, no, I do not. Why are you not smiling in your photos? So this is actually something about myself that you guys probably don't know. Obviously, because I've never talked about it. But I don't smile in photos, guys. I just don't do it. It's very difficult for me to fake emotion. Either I think something is funny, either I genuinely want to smile, or I genuinely want to laugh, or I don't. The fact that someone is holding a camera is not suddenly going to make me, give them a huge smile. Like, I've seen pictures of girls in the bathroom on Facebook, right? And it's like one selfie of after another, and they're in the bathroom smiling. And I'm like, yo, you're in the bathroom by yourself taking pictures of yourself, and all these pictures you're smiling. Like, what the fuck are you so happy about? It just screams fakeness, and I just can't do it. So in my photos, I look serious. Just can't help it. And then she's like, what's your son's sign? So I'm like, yes, guys, listen. One of the most natural and easy ways you can bring up sex, the topic of sex, or just even relationship with a girl, is to talk about sun sign. That astrology bullshit, remember, the biggest thing, the most relevant part of the astrology thing is the compatibility part of it, right? The compatibility component of it. There's a relationship compatibility on the astrological signs. There's also a sexual compatibility. For my purposes, I'm interested in the sexual compatibility. That allows me to bring up sex in a natural way. The topic of sex has already been breached, so it's not that important. But the point is, we were steering away from sex, and now we're steering back towards it because of this question. So again, I'm still joking. I'm like, look, my God, by the time I answer these questions, there will be no mystery left. She's like, do you think sun signs are silly? For the record, yes, I do. I'm like, you're killing the magic. What's your favorite ice cream? See, like what the? Like, what kind of questions are these? Like, who thinks these are good questions? You know, my favorite kind of ice cream is chocolate. I like nutty chocolate. No, whoa. That sounded a little gay. No homo. Okay, that's not even a quarter of the questions I have. LOL, some of these questions are first timers for me. You know, what is my favorite color? So again, I'm like, I don't understand these idiotic questions. So yeah, what's your favorite color? At this point, basically what I did is in order to like, because listen, guys, this is really important. When this line of questioning, what is your favorite color, right? What is your favorite color? What is your favorite ice cream? Guys, this line of questioning leads nowhere. At no point, like going down this rabbit hole that she's trying to take me will take me down to an abyss. Once I fall into that abyss, I'm not getting back out. So if a girl is leading you down this retarded line of questioning, or God forbid, you're asking a girl, never ask a girl what her favorite color is, never. But if you're on this line of questioning, you guys need to get off this line of questioning immediately. This goes nowhere. What is your favorite ice cream? What's your favorite color? Like, what possible answer can I give that's going to take this conversation anywhere? This line of questioning will kill the conversation. It'll take it nowhere. Anytime a girl asks you stupid questions like these, you need to get off that line of questioning immediately. You need to redirect the conversation either through a joke or something else. The way I did it was, I pretended like I don't know much about astrology. The truth is I don't, but I have a basic understanding. So I basically pretended like, I'm like, oh, astrology, is that Gemini stuff or that Pisces stuff? And she's like, yes, sun signs are the Gemini, Pisces, etc. Are you a Gemini? So I effectively was able to steer the conversation away from the abyss that she was trying to lead me down into. So yeah, I actually am a Gemini, so she kind of guessed it correctly. And, you know, she's like, of course I'll answer any. So, but what I said prior to this was, I'm like, hey, listen, if you're going to ask me questions, I want to ask you questions too. And she's like, of course I'll answer any. And I'm like, so before I answer, you know, what I am, you know, what are you? Because I feel like you're going to Google compatibility and that kind of crap. So pay close attention to where I'm leading this, okay? So anyway, she's like, I'm a Sagittarius, haha. And for the record, I don't know anything about Sagittarius. But she's like, I'm not going to Google compatibility. So I'm like, all right, I'm a Gemini, so you guessed right. She's like, haha, I knew it. Now check this out. Okay, you don't have to, but I'm going to check sexual compatibility. And just a heads up, she's like, haha, we are sexually compatible. Just a heads up, if it's good, I'm going to tell you it's God's way of telling us it's a good thing. If it's bad, I'm going to say this is total BS. So I'm doing two things. Number one, I've steered the conversation from the topic of sex to to sun signs, so from the topic of sex to astrology. And now, using astrology, I've steered the conversation to the possibility of sex between me and her. Because talking about sex as an abstract thing is one thing. But when you're talking about sex as a possibility of the two of us having sex, that is an entirely different conversation. It makes things much more personal. It also turns the girl on. So when she's like, we are sexually compatible, I'm like, oh, all right, I got to read this. And she's like, I mean, you can double check for sure. So understand, she is basically, like, what she's telling me here is that I'm totally open to the idea of having sex with you. I'm totally open to talk about the two of us maybe having sex. Because why else would she even be, like, talking about this? This is why astrology signs are such a great thing. Anyways, she's like, haha, I mean, you can double check for sure. I'm like, I want specifics. I want to know how Sagittarius is like it in bed. It might be useful information later, you know? So after a bit, I actually asked her, I'm like, yo, like, what are you into? And I want you to pay close attention to this girl's answer because she gave an honest to God answer, all right? All that bullshit you hear that feminists say, that is not true. Girls don't actually want that. Those feminist guys that you hear about who are like, I love you so much. It's your choice. You can do whatever you want. I'll respect your choice. You can walk all over me. You can cheat. Blah, blah, blah. Those guys, women do not respect those guys. Those guys do not turn women on. Okay, those guys are basically pathetic fucking guys. So I'm gonna read what this girl wrote when I asked her, what do you like sexually, what turns you on, and understand what she wrote here is just like the most common sense thing. I'm gonna read the entire thing. It's not all on screen, so I'll just read it. Quote:
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
I like masculinity. Big surprise, right? I think it's very sexy. I like when a man is a man and a woman is a woman. Again, not surprising. I like traditional things. Opening the car door turns me on. Psst. Opening all the doors, haha, or taking out the trash turns me on. This is important. This is where it gets good. A slap on my ass because I did the laundry with the good detergent. I don't want to be dominated to death. Of course not. But I like to be put in my place with confidence. Let me repeat that. I like to be put in my place with confidence. That means when girls are giving you shit, right? When a girl is acting up, understand, if you let a girl, what she's saying here is, if a guy lets me walk all over him, I will not respect him. If a guy lets me walk all over him, it's not gonna last. If a guy lets me walk all over him, I don't find that attractive. Either I'm not gonna fuck him, or if I am fucking him, I'm probably gonna cheat on him. A push and pull. I don't want to dominate a man. It's a turnoff. I've had encounters where men have wanted me to dominate. It did nothing for me. I like passionate fucking. Anywhere and anytime. I like being desired, not objectified. I like being into someone as much as they're into me. Physically, I like to take it slow. I love making out. I love being touched. I like oral. I like when a man is interested in my body and wants to enjoy it, not just come on it. I mean, aside from that being honest, is that basically not what we all already know? Like, nowadays in current society, nobody wants to admit that. Like, girls will admit this to you in private, right? When you're having sex with them, right? But in public, no one says this. In public, no girls say, I like masculinity. People don't say that because they're afraid to say that. But this is 100%. This is 99.9% of girls right here, fellas. So I'm like, well, I mean, I'm not surprised, right? And she's like, I like to take my time. If I don't click with you mentally, there's a strong chance I won't fuck you. So she's like, you're not, as in you're not surprised by it? She's like, what do you like? So I'm going to skip what I told her about me because that's a little too much information. And I don't want you guys to know all that about me. So I'm going to skip that. But then she replied with, I like to carry it away bitch. She's replying to something I said about what I like. So then I'm like, you want to meet up? This is important, guys. When you are talking to a girl and the conversation is good, and especially when you guys have already talked about sex, and we've not only talked about sex, we talked about sex between me and her. You need to move the conversation to the next level. You cannot let the conversation stall. If you let it basically just sit in the same place and you never move it forward, you never take it to the next level, it's not going to happen. It's going to die. So either you ask to meet up or you ask for pictures or videos. But I don't care what you do. You got to take it to the next level. Don't take no baby steps. Don't wait for her to make a move. You need to man up and you need to make a goddamn move. So anyways, I'm like, you want to meet up? She's like, right now? Is that question too? So it's like 12 o'clock at night now. I'm not one of those guys that, will sit back and like try to play it super cool. I'm a talkative person. I like to talk. I have no issue with that. And I try to be myself. So these messages you see, I'll obviously read them. I have no problem trying to use my words to persuade people into doing what I want. And I have no problem being direct. Some girls like that. Some girls don't. Anyways, I'm like, look, right now would be great as I got all day off tomorrow and don't need to worry about sleeping early. I don't like asking too many questions over text. And everything I'm saying here, this is not some BS line I'm using on her. This is just how I am, guys. This is how I am with everybody, girls and guys. I'm not much into texting. If we can talk, we should talk in person. So I'm like, I don't like asking too many questions over text. Getting to know each other is better done in person. You can learn all the info about a person there is. But if you don't spend time with them, you will know about them, but you won't feel comfortable with them. LOL or haha is not a good substitute for hearing someone laugh. And again, that's just 100% my honest opinion. So she's like, I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, don't think too long, It's past midnight. Even Cinderella had her curfew. And she's like, the only thing that happens after 10 is a booty call, which is true in a lot of cases. I don't have a curfew. I like Mulan the best. Like, she's acting like I give up. Like, this girl is a squirrel. She gets distracted so easily, right? So I'm constantly needing to redirect. And then I'm like, LOL, neither do I. So much in common. She's like, what if you're a serial killer? Korea is huge. And that's absolutely true. Sometimes people are serial killers. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good question. She's like, are you in Seoul? By the way, Seoul is the capital city of Korea. And since I'm currently in Korea, yes, I'm currently in Seoul as well. I'm like, finally someone asked this question. I mean, you could be as in a serial killer. So I'm like, I assure you, I'm not a serial killer. Well, yeah, I could be, but so could you. You could be some hairy, fat, bald man just waiting for victims. She's like, I kill tacos. See, like she's trying to be like girls. As I said in a different video, women are almost never funny. All right, so she's trying to be funny here. She's being cute. Don't get me wrong. I genuinely really enjoy talking to this girl, but she didn't make me laugh a single time. Anyway, she's like, I kill tacos. Bald women are cute, but I don't have a penis. Thank God. Otherwise, I would have immediately deleted her. But she's like, but why now? That's the question. So I'm like, thank God we don't share that in common, as in thank God we don't share a penis in common. I'm like, for a reason, why now? She's like, where do you even live? Let's just fast forward that a little bit. I'm like, she's like, I'm still thinking, right? So I'm like, if I was a girl, I would be thinking about it too. And in all honesty, I would, right? Because remember, as a girl, you know, you're meeting up with a strange guy. God knows what kind of person this guy is. He could be a rapist. He could be a murderer. God knows what he is, right? She's like, I'm listing the pros and cons of this. So I'm like, haha, are you making a little list over there? She's like, I mean, it would be an intelligent choice to think. Well, yes. So again, I'm trying to lighten the mood. So I was like, Santa and I sometimes compare our lists. I handle the naughty lists for him. But then I'm like, of course, at the end of the day, if you don't want to come, you know, you'd be bored. So this is just me basically trying to like tell her, yo, listen, I'm not trying to pressure you. I really am not into the pressuring thing. I like when someone does something, I like it when they naturally want to do it. You have more fun with a girl when she wants to do it, when she's a willing, active participant. When you pressure people into something and they're not giving it their all, the sex is just boring. So she's like, the pros, I meet a handsome man, we have a good conversation. Thank you. You know, like I always like being called handsome. And the fact that she's complimenting me, she's basically telling me here, yeah, like this is just reassurance from her, right? Yeah, I am attracted to you. Ladies, if you're watching this, I know that you guys love compliments. That is never enough for you friggin' girls. But every now and then, it's always nice if you can compliment us because, you know, it makes us feel the same way you feel when we compliment you. The cons being it's dark and stormy night. I go to a place that I am unfamiliar with in an area that I don't really know at all, and I'm murdered by a random handsome man. Called me handsome twice, fellas. Twice. You know, it looks like a plot of a movie. So I'm like, plot twist, you're the handsome man, and I'm the one that gets murdered. And then she's like, but I'd be the dumb blonde who trips and falls over everything. Haha. Oh, you wish, or you're a midget, which is also true. You know, you never know someone's height until you actually meet them. Ladies, that's a heads up for you. Anyways, I'm like, that's possible. And then I asked her, I forget what I asked her. What did I ask her? I asked her something like, I'm like, okay, I think you're still thinking. I think we will have fun, but it's up to you. And then she's like, I do think you're handsome. This is the third time she called me handsome. And it's not because I didn't ask her what she thought of me. She's just telling me. She's like, I do think you're handsome. I like your dark hair and you have lovely features and interesting eyes. Okay, just a quick note. You guys will probably never know what I look like. I have absolutely no plans to ever upload a picture of myself or ever upload a video of myself onto this. So the description she's giving of me here, quote, dark hair and lovely features and interesting eyes. Obviously, that's just one girl's opinion. I happen to agree with that opinion. But this is about as close as you guys are ever going to get to knowing what I look like. And just for the record, I am a handsome bastard. Okay. She's like, however... She's like, however, I think I'm going to wait a little bit, mostly because I don't want to put myself in a silly situation as I usually do. I don't want to waste your entire night just in case you have someone else in mind to see that could come over. What is this fun you speak of, right? And she's talking about when I said we could have fun. So I'm like, nah, like, and this is where I'm trying to reassure. It's a bad look. Do not start bragging to a girl about how many other options you have. Don't be like, yo, I could F this girl here. I could F that girl here. There's all these girls waiting for me to F them. Don't ever say that to a girl. Ever. When a girl says something to you like, oh, I don't want to waste your night. What if you're meeting up with another girl? You got to reassure her that, hey, listen, I'm only interested in talking to you. Doesn't matter if it's not true. The point is that when you just like she's not my girlfriend, right? It's not like I'm cheating on her by talking to other girls. The point is, no person wants. Imagine you're a guy and some girl tells you, "Oh, please, I have like 8 other guys I could have sex with right now." You're gonna look at her and think, "Yo, you're a complete douchebag." Never, ever, ever, even if it's 100% true, brag to a girl about all of your quote options. You don't do that. So I'm like, nah. She's like, I don't even know how old you are. I'm like, I'm hoping I'd like you to come. So then I was like, again, this is where I'm like, I'm not trying to be too forceful, right? Because, you know, you don't want to scare anybody away. So I was like, well, look, we can talk for a bit, maybe grab some food if anything happens, head back to my place. Head back to my place being the key point here. And then, fast forwarding a little bit by about like 10 minutes or something, she's like, I want to fuck you. So I'm like, so then come over. She's like, I haven't. She's like, I haven't fucked anything in a long time. Makes me nervous. So, okay, let me just stop here. Everyone, long time is relative. A long time to a girl is anything more than a month. A long time to a guy, to the average guy, is anything more than a year. So when she says a long time, don't get it twisted. This girl is really attractive. At least I think she's really attractive. By a long time, and we had a conversation over the phone, and she kind of told me a little bit of her history. So I know when she says a long time, she does not mean more than a month. Makes me nervous. Well, I think she about a month, maybe a month and a half at most. I'm like, don't worry, we will go slow. Remember, I don't like rushing. Yeah. So when she asked me what do I like sexually, I told her that I like to take my time. I want to make sure everyone in my this is where I'm just kind of getting horny. You could tell where I'm like, I want to make sure everyone in my apartment hears you before I'm done. So like, I'm basically telling her I'm gonna bang you so hard that you're gonna be yelling. Everybody in my apartment is gonna hear it. So I'm like, look, I'll pay for your cab ride. If you're not feeling it, or if you change your mind, I promise I won't push you, right? So again, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. The transit system is closed. She lives an hour and a half away, right? And I'm trying to coax her into coming. So of course I'm gonna be like, hey, listen, I'll pay for your cab ride, right? And then she's like, but then what would be the point if I fuck you? What is the point? Like, I'm trying to understand how annoying this is, right? I'm trying to have sex with this girl, and she's trying to get all philosophical on me. The point of what? Fucking. Like, why would you want to fuck me? Well, this is where I'm using my words. I'm trying to coax her. I'm trying to persuade her. I'm trying to go to work on her. I'm like, well, look, not everything needs an explanation, but the point is, I met someone I like. This is not a corny line. It rarely happens. Most girls are boring as fuck, which is true. Fellas, most girls I talk to, even girls that are sort of into me, a lot of time the conversation is boring. Girls, it's like a lot of them just expect the guy to do most of the work in the conversation, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I've met some girls that were great at conversation, but if I had to put a number on it, I'd say out of every 10 girls, maybe 3 or 4 can actually hold a decent conversation. The majority of them cannot. It's like they expect the guy to be funny and charming and talkative. They expect the guy to do everything in the conversation. And if, like, this is the thing, right? Very commonly, the responsibility of the conversation, the responsibility of being funny, the responsibility of being charming, the responsibility of being sociable falls on the guy's shoulders. A lot of times, girls are so boring, but most people don't view it like that, right? When a text between a girl and a guy doesn't work out, or a conversation between a girl and a guy doesn't work out, a lot of people just assume, oh, the guy wasn't that funny. No, or the guy wasn't that sociable. No. A lot of times, it's because the girl is incredibly boring. Unfortunately, for some reason, it's always seen as the guy is the one who needs to, impress the girl. So like, even if he's, putting some work in, even if he's being charming, etc., some girls, you just can't talk to them. They're just dead weight. But anyway, most girls are boring as fuck, which is absolutely true in my opinion. When I meet people I like to be with them in person. Having sex doesn't mean we say, okay, bye afterwards. It just means we accept that we both want it. I talk a lot of shit. And then I'm like, come over, I'll pay for your cab ride. She's like, why don't you come over? This is where I kind of dropped the ball. Had I gone over to her house, I'm like, had I made it into her apartment, I would have definitely had sex with her that night. I didn't go, and the reason why is because you guys can see that she's very indecisive right now. She's very uncertain. So I was like, what if I get into a cab ride, go all the way there, and then she changes her mind? Or what if I go all the way there and then she's anxious, so she pretends to fall asleep, texts me the next morning, oh, I'm sorry, I fell asleep, right? So then I would be all the way in her area, an hour and a half away, wasted my time, wasted my money, and then I would need to take like an hour and a half cab ride back home. So I was like, I'm not going to risk that, right? So I didn't actually go over. But had I gone over and made it into her apartment, definitely would have had sex with her. So I'm like, well, if you come over, I can plan a whole day for us tomorrow. If I come over, I don't know about anything in your area. So again, she's like hesitant, about having sex with me. So I'm like, now I'm trying to transition it as like, hey, it's not just going to be sex. We'll have a date as well. So then I joked about, hey, I got a Netflix account. And she's like, that's just Netflix and chill. So I'm like, nah, that's just watching and sharing some time together. So again, I'm just, I'm trying to create euphemisms for her here to make her feel better. She's like, it's gonna rain, blah, being comfortable next to each other, blah, blah, blah. So then at this point, we're talking, we get back on the topic of sex, right? And before I told her that, I basically told her that, like, yo, I'm horny or something. And she's like, you're hard? I told her I'm hard. And she's like, you're hard? And then I was like, she's like, how? She's like, how are you hard? And I'm like, I forget what I said, but I'm like, your picture, the picture that she had at the time on her display pic of her cleavage. I'm like, plus your pic helped my imagination. And then she was like, you know, what do you do when you fuck rough? Because I told her I like to have sex rough. I'm a rough fucker. I'm like, I'd rather show you. She's like, my tits aren't even out all the way, lol. I'm like, they were out enough for me to get an idea of what they look like. She's like, I'm not showing anything. They're huge. And fellas, yes, her tits are huge. I'm like, sometimes not seeing them completely is more of a turn on. She's like, that's not the point. So anyways, I started getting annoyed at this, and I'm like, send me a pic. She's like, of what? Like, what do you mean of what? Of your friggin' toenails, of your nails. No, obviously, right? Of what? I'm like, of your tits. You know, we're on the topic. But she's like, what if you don't like them? And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. But I'm like, yo, they're boobs. How can I not? There isn't a ton of variation in boobs. It's mainly just size. And she's like, some people don't really like tits. And I'm like, well, some people do. And she's like, you never know. And I'm like, and I'm part of that group. So I asked her for a picture. And this is what I like about this girl. I asked her for a picture. She sends me a video. She sends me a video of her, obviously of her boobs, but she's kind of doing a little striptease. It turned me on. I'm not going to lie. It really fucking turned me on. Right? And then she's like, what does your... she's like, what does your dick look like? So I'm like, and then she's kind of joking, you know, you could be into ankles and earlobes. And I'm like, at this point right here, I actually sent her a picture of my dick. This is why I said ain't fully hard, but obviously I deleted it because I don't want any of you guys to know what my dick looks like. One, number two, I don't want this video to get flagged for pornography. So the dick pic has been deleted. Anyways, I'm like, ain't fully hard. It's your job to get it fully hard though. She's like, it looks like it would feel really nice. And I'm like, lol, that's why I told you you'd love it if you came over. And she's like, you are very tempting. And then this is where I just went on like a kind of a perv rant where I was like, make you moan so loud everyone in my building would know you're getting fucked. Right? Haha, it's not too late, but your call, make you suck. And then after that, I'm like, make you suck my dick first. And we went on like a long sex thing. We started sexting. I had an orgasm. She had an orgasm. But during the sex thing, she sent me like, I think 2 or 3 more videos of herself. And like, there were obviously videos of her, you know, masturbating. So it was definitely an interesting conversation. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that text. This is a conversation I had with her about a month ago or something. She and I are still in semi-contact here and there. We don't really talk anymore though. But the reason why is because very soon I'm going to be uploading a video. I'm going to be uploading a video. And basically what I want to do is I'm going to be giving you guys some do's and don'ts of how to get laid, of how to talk to women, right? So I've seen a lot of these videos. A lot of them I think are BS. I'm just going to give you my opinion. And the reason why I showed this text message first is just because I want to gain some credibility with you guys. I want you guys to know that I'm not just full of BS. That everything I'm saying are things that I do myself. Now, the final thing I want to say is don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not some super good looking guy, right? This was one girl's opinion of me. She just happened to be attracted to me. Honestly, I think I'm pretty average looking. I have friends that have slept with way more girls than I have. But the fact is, you know, this is what works for me. And sometimes it doesn't work and sometimes it does work, right? But at the end of the day, this is just kind of how I am and how I operate. And, you know, if it helps any of you guys, or if any of you guys watched it, if you guys want to try it out, by all means, try it out. But understand that, you know, every situation is a little bit different and that you can't plan conversation. So just be yourself. Anyways, another video is going to be coming up. Trying to get you guys, or trying to like give you guys the do's and don'ts of how to talk to girls. If you're interested in that, you know, make sure you subscribe to the channel because as soon as it's up, you'll be able to watch it. So this is Randumpz signing out. Last thing I want to say, yo, I see people watching my videos, right? My videos don't have that many views, but I get like views, but I don't get any likes. So I'm wondering, who are these people watching my videos but not liking my content? You know, because like, I gotta say, it hurts my feelings a little bit. You know, like it hurts my feelings that you guys basically treat me like a prostitute. That you guys watch my content and then like a dirty rag, you use me like a dirty rag to rub your balls clean and then you toss me out. At least like my content, bro. It's like shaking a prostitute's hand as you walk out of the motel room, right? It's like saying, hey, listen, you know, I get that I paid you for the sex, but I had a good time. Anyways, Like, subscribe. This is Randumpz signing out. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys will continue to watch. Randumpz signing out.